Devastation across Ukraine overnight from shelling in Mykolaiv.
A warning for parents and their kids before trick-or-treating begins.
A North Texas team took part in a revolutionary flight test. I'll have more later on in the show.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV News at Noon. I'm Sebastian Nava.
And I'm Avery Callens. We start off today's newscast with some breaking news. ntTV's Gabby Cardin has more. Gabby?
Thanks, guys. Yes, we have breaking news out of Florida. Just over an hour ago, Parkland school shooter Nikolas Cruz received the life sentence from the jury. This is a new development in the trial against him for killing a total of 17 people, including 14 students and 3 staff members back in 2018. Last year, Cruz pled guilty to 17 counts of first-degree murder and 17 counts of attempted first-degree murder. The decision to hand him the death penalty was not reached because that would have needed a unanimous decision from the jury. We'll continue to keep you updated on developments from this trial tonight in our 6 o'clock newscast. That's all I have. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Gabby. Today, the Ukrainian city of Mykolaiv reports a Russian shelling that hit a 5-story residential building. The series of 8-300 missiles fired last night destroyed the upper 2 floors, initially leaving 7 people missing in the rubble. The Mykolaiv Regional Military Administration reported that an 11-year-old boy was saved from the rubble, and rescuers identified the bodies of a 31-year-old man and an 81-year-old woman, still leaving 5 missing. The latest report states that 9 units of equipment and 37 rescuers have been involved so far. An advisor for Ukraine's presidential office, Mikhail Podolyak, opposes U.S. President Joe Biden's comments about Russia's Vladimir Putin. Here is Podolyak's statement.
He is not rational. He is emotional. He takes a lot of decisions from an emotional position and without a deep understanding of what is going on. Every decision that President Putin makes is a mistake. Our partners all reacted very quickly to what happened on Monday the 10th. All our official partners, including the United States, announced that the types of strikes were inhumane because they consciously targeted civilian infrastructure.
We will keep you updated as reports come out from Ukraine.
New evidence and testimony will be presented to the January 6th committee in their last public forum before the midterm elections in just over 3 weeks. CNN's Sarah Murray has more.
The House Select Committee investigating January 6th, preparing its closing arguments ahead of the midterms.
There's some new material that, I found as we got into it pretty surprising.
Sources say the committee will use today's hearing to hammer home that former President Trump is still a clear and present danger to democracy.
I do think that he poses a threat to democracy. He failed to act that day. He had every opportunity to call off the mob and condemn the violence. We've seen from taped testimony from several of my colleagues that folks were pleading with him to do that, and he didn't ever pick up the phone once.
The committee may present new evidence from witnesses who were in Trump's cabinet, including former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, former Secretary of Treasury Steve Mnuchin, and former Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao. Chao resigned from her position on January 7th. Evidence could be presented from Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas's wife, Ginny Thomas. The committee questioned her about her false allegations of election fraud after the 2020 presidential election.
We still have significant information that we've not shown to the public that's available to us.
The committee is also preparing to present new communications from the Secret Service after the agency recently turned over more than 1 million communications. An official with the Secret Service also telling CNN that agents did reach out to members of the Oath Keepers prior to the Capitol attack as part of standard intelligence and response duties. The committee will try to argue links between Trump's inner circle and far-right extremist groups like the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys.
The inner circle includes the 3 people that he pardoned between the election in November and January 6th, Flynn, Stone, and Bannon. I call them the Flintstones. Then absolutely there is abundant evidence that we are going to present about, for example, Stone's enmeshment with domestic violent extremist groups.
Trump's staunch ally, Roger Stone's communications with these groups is under the committee's scrutiny. CNN obtained clips from a documentary that followed Stone for portions of about 3 years. In the clip, Stone is heard advocating for violence before January 6th.
Excellent. Violence. The voting. Let's get right to the violence.
The director tells CNN Stone was in constant contact with the Proud Boys.
Did he spend a lot of time with members of the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers or any groups like that, QAnon people?
Proud Boys, you mean? Yes, Proud Boys, he's very close to the Proud Boys.
According to Murray, the January 6th committee wants to reinforce their position that former President Donald Trump is a, quote, danger to the United States.
In other news, fall temperatures are starting to drop in North Texas.
Let's see what our weather anchor, Alec Rapp, has for us. Alec?
Thanks, guys, and you're certainly right. That fall weather is starting to drop, and today it is 76 degrees here in Denton with 10-mile-an-hour winds. And let's go ahead and take a look at tonight. Tonight is going to be 74, and it's going to feel like 74 as well with 6-mile-an-hour wind speeds. But, however, those fall temperatures are not going to stick around because tomorrow it is going to jump back up to 88 degrees, and it's going to have 11-mile-an-hour wind speeds. So make sure that you're just staying nice and put some sunscreen on because it is going to be partly cloudy tomorrow. And that's all I have for you now. Let's go back to the desk.
Thanks, Alec. Parents have new concerns over what could be hiding amongst this year's Halloween candy. I spoke with UNT's RISE director, Sonia Redwine, to discuss the threat this poses to trick-or-treaters.
Halloween a little over 2 weeks away, there are new concerns over what could be lurking amongst the candy children receive during their annual trick-or-treating. Fentanyl, a substance the DEA claims is 50 times more potent than heroin, and lots of it is coming from Mexican drug cartels. The Drug Enforcement Agency states a deadly dose of fentanyl can be as little as 2 milligrams, about the same amount found on the tip of a pencil. Drug traffickers hide this deadly amount in fake pills made to look like prescription medications such as Oxycontin, Percocet, Vicodin, Xanax, and Adderall. But now parents are on high alert after new pills have been found in the colors of the rainbow.
I think just in the spirit of Halloween, right, that we're always a little bit more on alert and that there's things in place that we do to make sure that we're ensuring the safety of all those who are participating in Halloween activities.
The DEA is now using social media to combat the rise in fentanyl overdoses and spread awareness to counterfeit pills becoming more widespread.
I do know that more people are talking about it, and the more that we talk about it, the more that we can talk about prevention efforts, the more that we can talk about recovery and getting people support so that we can reduce the instance of overdose, so we can help people reach their optimal potential.
For more information on how to watch out for fentanyl, go to the One Pill Can Kill website at dea.gov/onepill.
Coming up, see how the State Fair of Texas is honoring the Uvalde community.
And see what our live reporter Isabela Quintanilla has about a new flight technology. Stay with us.
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
It's that time of year where everyone plays a dangerous game with the flu. Going in uneducated, you run the risk of symptoms like cough, migraine, and fatigue. Don't be like this guy. Combat the flu with cough drops, ibuprofen, and a good night's sleep. Be smart, don't catch the flu.
The state fair is known for corn dogs and the laughter of children, but this year the state fair set up an ofrenda to honor the victims of the shooting in Uvalde that took the lives of 19 students and 2 teachers. ntTV's Noemi Sanchez has more.
This year, the State Fair's Mundo Latino brings together candles, pictures, and kids' toys to honor the 21 lives lost at Robb Elementary. Today, we talked to Rafael Luna, the creator of this exhibit, who says this is a call to action.
And it's an emotion that tugs at your heart.
It was a sense for change that motivated Rafael to remember the kids and teachers in a purposeful way.
I've had relatives come that it was their aunt and the whole bit, and they said, oh my God, they said, we've seen a lot of memorials, but none like this, because it has an action item that you can do. So it means a lot when there is an action item that we can do for each child.
That call to action being the QR codes located beside every victim's name, allowing visitors to scan and visit sites, prompting people to act or donate for a cause.
For example, call your principal and call the teacher and say, thank you for taking care of my child, keeping my child safe. Maybe you want to donate blood. Maybe you want to give to the fund that helps victims. Maybe you want to call a state senator and say, let's change gun control.
Hundreds of people pass through Mundo Latino daily, yet the sight of the altar leaves many feeling emotional.
I think overwhelmed is probably how I feel. Yeah, it's just scary.
As Courtney Wilson and her daughter looked at the altar, the mother of the 3rd grader couldn't hold back the tears in her eyes, saying she saw her daughter in the faces of the Uvalde kids.
Kids should be able to be safe at school. I can't imagine what those parents are going through, and that shouldn't have happened. There were so many things that were wrong about it.
It is reactions like this one, Rafael expresses, he hopes impact people enough to fight for change and reform.
So I want to make sure that we don't only just come and see the pictures and see the names. I want to do something for each one of those children. Pick one. As long as you do one of them, then you'll remember that child, you'll remember what you did, and you've been contributing to gun reform. You'll be contributing to changing the way things are.
The ofrenda is located in the Mundo Latino exhibit and will run until the fair closes Sunday, October 23rd.
Yesterday, it was announced that Social Security checks will rise to nearly 9% this upcoming year. This means that each check will include an extra $150, which is an 8.7% boost in response to rapid inflation. This adjustment will impact 70 million people who rely on Social Security and will increase monthly payments by about $146 million. This is the largest Social Security fund since 1981.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention published data Thursday showing more than a third of adults in the U.S. used telemedicine last year. The data showed that women were significantly more likely than men to use telemedicine. Use also increased with age, with seniors 65 and older most likely to say they used telemedicine in the past 12 months. About 40% of white people and American Indian people used telemedicine in 2021. That's compared to roughly 33% of Black, Hispanic, and Asian adults. It was also more commonly used by those with a higher family income and a higher level of education, as well as in more urban areas.
There's a lot happening in the world of air transportation, with new technology being tested right here in North Texas.
Our live reporter Isabella Quintanilla has more. Isabella?
Thanks, guys. On Tuesday afternoon, a North Texas cohort team helped researchers take a giant step towards next-generation air travel with a successful live flight test that started at Hillwood's Alliance Flight Test Center and ended right here at UNT's own Discovery Park. Here we have some footage of the revolutionary flight test that could be used in the future to help with everyday life. The flight simulated a potential high-demand air route for unmanned autonomous cargo and provided vital data on vehicle-to-infrastructure communications and autonomous flight operations. The Bell helicopter used for the demonstration provided real air data to a traffic management system the entire flight, organizing air traffic and ensuring the safety of everything and everyone below. The North Texas cohort, organized by NASA's Advanced Air Mobility National Campaign Project, will use this new data to make one of the most advanced transportation systems in the world. Now that's all I have for today's report, but as you can see, it's really nice outside right now, if not a bit windy. I am actually a bit chilly right now, but let's check in with our weather anchor, Alec Rapp, to see what the forecast is for the rest of the week. Alec?
Thanks, Isabella. Let's go ahead and take a look across North Texas. As you can see, the weather is all around in the 70s. We've got highs of 77 in Dallas and Stephenville. We've got a low of 71 and 72 over in the west side of the state. Obviously 76 degrees right here in Denton. Let's go ahead and take a look across the region. As you can see, once again, in this area in the 70s, the southern part of the state, 84 and 83. Very nice weather up in Oklahoma City, and in Amarillo, it's down at 62 degrees, the coolest across the state. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the 7-day forecast for Denton. Tomorrow is going to be 88 for the high, and Saturday the high is 92. So if you're going to the football game, make sure to have some sunscreen on because it's going to be sunny. Then on Sunday, it drops back down to 76 degrees. There's a 74% chance of rain, so make sure you have an umbrella with you. On Monday, 71 degrees, and then we drop back into the 60s, so some sweater weather for everybody, 65 and 68 on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we go back into the 70s. It's going to be 77 degrees right here in Denton. That's all from me. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Alec. When we come back, what is pumpkinflation? We'll explain.
And the end of an era for a spooky movie franchise. Stay with us.
At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
UNT is more than 125 years in the making. To find new solutions, we create a new point of view. We know what's possible when creativity, originality, and independent thought converge. We're ranked a Tier 1 research university. We're home to excellence the size of Texas. Define your future at UNT and soar to new heights.
Visiting a pumpkin patch is a staple for the fall season, but buying a pumpkin might take a little more out of your wallet this year. Prices are especially high in Las Vegas. Due to the extreme weather that has impacted the Las Vegas region, the price of an average pumpkin has risen up to 50% more, according to CNN's Ophelia Young. Director of the Gilcrease Orchard Pumpkin Patch, Mark Rubin, states that this is due to problems with labor costs, shipping costs, and the cost of gardening materials. Although the price of visiting a pumpkin patch has become higher across the nation, it is still a beloved tradition that doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
With Halloween a little over 2 weeks away, horror movies are at the top of everyone's must-watch list. Tomorrow, a Constant Fright film feature says goodbye to Halloween franchise after over 40 years. CNN's Rick Damigella has more.
I was certain that I saw him watching me.
No matter what happens in the climax of Halloween Ends, Jamie Lee Curtis is certain of the significance of her performance.
But this time, something feels different.
The miracle is that her legacy is now mine. And it is cemented, it is tattooed on me. I don't have tattoos, but Laurie Strode, you know, Strode strong all day long would be a really good tattoo for me. Because no matter what, Halloween actress dies. I'm dead, Halloween actress dies. Laurie Strode is Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis is Laurie Strode. We are bound We are woven together at this point. She was a character back in 1978. Now she and I are one and the same, and I get her legacy.
Curtis is joined in the film by her 1978 Halloween co-star, Kyle Richards.
Jamie and I would be sitting on set at 3 o'clock in the morning, freezing, bundled up next to each other, and she'd say, can you believe that we're here all of these years later? Together, making these same movies, playing these characters.
The story and Curtis's character may even defy fans' expectations.
There's a moment where Laurie smiles. She smiles. Laurie Strode smiled in a movie. That tells you where we are emotionally. And then, of course, the ceiling comes crashing down on her a second later.
He killed my daughter. But tonight, I will kill him. Come and get me.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
It's nice to work together as a team here on ntTV. Don't you think so?
Yeah, you're right. But speaking of teams, let's toss it over to our sports anchor, Gabby Pippins, to see what she has for us in sports. Gabby?
You're right, guys. I spoke to the Kerr Hall Knights volleyball team, but I'll have more on UNT and Dallas football, and taking a look at the start of intramural sports on campus right after this.
So a man's been walking in the desert for days at a time. He finally comes across a bar and orders a Coke.
That's not funny. Hey man, are you okay in there? You look terrible. Have you been up all night? Don't you know that according to the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, staying up all night can have a negative effect on your GPA?
Sleep?
Yeah, go to bed.
Last week, UNT faced off against Florida Atlantic during Parents' Weekend. This game was a major upset for FAU as UNT beat them 28-45, which is their most dominant win this season. Austin Ani was able to connect with Jari Shorter 3 times for touchdowns, and they were able to shine as star players with friends and family watching. Now, this week they are set to return to Apogee Stadium to play Louisiana Tech, and fans hope that their performance from last week carries over. And if it does, this would break UNT's even record and boost it to 4-3. This would also help their chances at making a bowl game and possibly becoming conference contenders. And now on to the Dallas Cowboys. They are preparing to take on the Philadelphia Eagles, who are the top team in the NFC East with a 5-0 record. Now, this game will be the ultimate test for Cooper Rush as fans watch to see if he will keep his perfect record. Rush currently holds a 4-0 record as the starting quarterback for the Cowboys, and he seems to be the more favorable pick over Dak Prescott, who's still suffering from his thumb injury. The Cowboys were able to hold off the Super Bowl champion LA Rams this Sunday, beating them 22-10. Rush was able to get the Cowboys within field goal range multiple times, and their kicker, Brett Maher, was able to go 3 for 3 in field goals. Let's just hope that this momentum continues with rush hour in Philadelphia. Intramural sports are beginning to kick off here at UNT with volleyball competitions between the dorm halls, and I got a chance to talk to one team about their plans for the season.
This year's intramural sports season is off to a great start with the beginning of dorm hall competitions, and volleyball for Kerr is looking promising. The Kerr Hall Knights have the largest concentration of players and the most players with prior competitive volleyball experience, and they are all more than ready to compete. They have been practicing all week to hone their skills for their first matchup against the Clark Sharks, and team organizer Jasmine Velasquez believes that her team was born ready.
I think we can make it to playoffs, and I'm pretty confident that we're going to end up winning the championship.
Her confidence has certainly spread to the team as the Kerr Hall Knights demonstrate great chemistry and control of the ball, which is what initially brought Jasmine to the sport.
I love seeing how people are able to just have a small group and make the ball do whatever they want. They make it go left, right, center. I think it's so cool.
That same love of volleyball comes from Madeline Richardson, a freshman at Kerr Hall.
I joined the Kerr Knights volleyball because I just really like playing volleyball, and I've always played volleyball when I was younger, and I just really like being a part of a team.
Madeline's prior volleyball experience will also be a huge boost to the team and will allow for her to better step into her role as this year's resident team captain.
I've been playing volleyball since I was in middle school, and so I do have a lot of experience, and with that being on the team, I feel like they can really use me.
That's all I have for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Gabby. If you're in search for a game day snack, look no further.
Fast food chain Taco Bell announced the return of nacho fries starting today for a limited time only.
You know, I have the Taco Bell app, and I cannot wait to use my rewards on this item.
You know, I've never actually had Taco Bell, not much. I've only been like once, and I didn't really enjoy it. Thank you for joining us at ntTV News at noon.
Join us again here on North Texas Television.